Welcome on back there, Coastal Bad Meteorologist Diamond Dixon here. Well, beautiful view we have outside our First Community Bank Skycam overlooking the USS the Lexington and that good old new Harbor Bridge in the background. Hope you've been enjoying your weekend and wrapping up our Sunday. We had some warm temperatures today, touching the 90s in some of our neighborhoods. We'll get into that in a bit, but looking at the past 10 hours, we saw 64 and 63 early this morning between 7 and 8 a.m. And then we rose into the 70s, 80s, and we had a brief period in the 90s there between that 2 and 4 o'clock window where we are the warmest in our daytime. So we're still now once again looking at the 80s right now, but we hit a high of exactly 90, which if you caught my forecast yesterday, I said it'd be 90 today. Well, that high set a record back in 1991 at 97 degrees. So 7-degree difference, not too far off. The lows were about 12 degrees of difference. We weren't in the 50s, but we were in at least those lower 60s this morning. Temperatures and feel likes right now, once again, 87 for here in Corpus Christi, 85 for Rockport, 84 for Port Aransas and Ingleside, 87 in Beeville. Still seeing 90s though on our map between George West and San Diego, Freer, Alice, Falfurrias, and Hebbronville. So a little bit warmer still, but those feel like temperatures are pretty close to our actual air temperature. And current winds out of the east-southeast around 14 miles per hour, 10 in Port Aransas, and just under 15 miles elsewhere for all of our neighborhoods. Hour by hour, how we're going to move through the rest of the night. We'll still be in the 80s till about 7 o'clock, upper 70s by 8, and then we get into those low 70s by the time we hit our midnight hour. That will carry us through once again 70s closer to 3 a.m. Now, what you'll notice is that it's going to be a little bit harder for us to get into those lower 60s headed into our Monday morning. So we'll actually still be in those low 70s, upper 60s, southeast wind just around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow with those feel like temperatures, similar scenario, expecting to get once again close to that 90-degree mark. That's our feel like temperatures between 1 and 3, which will even extend a little bit more past that. We'll be closer to those 90s through about 4 or 5 p.m. So once again, just prepare a little bit of heat, but it's not impactful heat such as heat risk. But we are just above normal for that average this week. That average is around 86 degrees. We stay consistently above that all week long into the following next week and into the next midweek as well. When you look at your temperature outlook for the next 6 to 10 days, we're going to be warmer here in South Texas between October 18th and the 22nd. So that pushes us past the mid-month point. It's going to be a hot October for us. Now, heat risk wise, as I mentioned, tomorrow we won't have much of a heat risk, slightly moderate along the coast, and then into our Tuesday there, it'll also just be minor as well. So that's going to be better news for us. Muggy meter wise, we're between muggy and humid. We don't really get to very humid until the end of the week with more increased dew points. But as far as rainfall, we look to be about normal here in South Texas. Once again, during that same window, the next 6 to 10 days out, you can also see that in our rain chances that look like to be a little bit unlikely and stray for the most part. Our lows tonight will be once again in the upper 60s and 70s across our neighborhoods. Temperatures once again slightly above normal throughout the week.